Well, today we have Mr. Albert P. Patterson, and we're going to talk about the Superstars Pro Wrestling story, which will be coming soon. So I want to ask you some questions, Mr. Patterson.
Okay, before we get started on that, I'd like to plug the Superstars of Wrestling Live, return to the internet. And I want everybody to watch Superstars of Wrestling live television program on the internet. And also we're going to be going back as early as 1978 with Superstar Wrestling. And also we're going to have Superstars of Pro Wrestling Network, which is Superstars of Wrestling, coming soon. Now, get back to work.
Okay. Well, I want to ask you, who's the owner of Superstars Pro Wrestling, Superstar Wrestling, Superstars of Wrestling, Superstars of Pro Wrestling, and WWA World Wrestling Association?
Okay. The answer to that is, what happened to the WWF? What happened to the WWF Superstars of Wrestling? What happened to the WWF Superstars?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Now, what would be the answer? I think I had gave you an answer.
Okay, now I want to hear you say it though.
Okay. The answer from Albert Patterson, and one thing I want to make perfectly clear is that the WWE, now known as the WWE, was formerly, I think, WWF. And a lot of times people get those confused. But I would have never dreamed until I seen the public declaration, serial number 7342866, dated June 3rd, 1983 by Linda McMahon, where she stated that, moreover, they made $10 million from Championship Wrestling, All-Star Wrestling, and Superstars of Wrestling, which I am the owner of.
Oh, you're the owner of it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, Mr. Patterson, what did you say happened to the WWF? What happened to them?
What happened to the WWF?
Mm-hmm.
They were simply canceled.
Oh, they was?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All the registrations relating to WWF was canceled, including the the television program, entertainment services in the nature of television programming featuring wrestling, in conjunction with WWF, was canceled.
Okay. Yeah, and you had said something about the WWF. It was canceled by that you said that they was canceled by the United States Patent and Trademark Office. And then you had a couple of documents that you said the one of them registration number was 1579498, and the cancellation date of that one was July 29th, 1996. And then the registration, another one was registration number 21318471, and that cancellation date was January 9th of 2003. So anything you want to add on that?
Well, it's kind of
Talk to the
difficult.
camera.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult for me to understand why that the public, as early as July 29, 1996, that the WWF, in conjunction with World Wrestling Federation, was canceled as early as 1996. Not only the registration dated January 9th, 2003, these people just kept on putting in registrations, using them for so many years, and they was canceled.
Mm.
With my help in 1999, we had a little problem with registrations, because here in the state we had registered WWA wrestling in 1988 as a corporation. And also, at that time, the WWF was seeking a registration of a corporation in Delaware at the same time, which they changed their name from WWF at the time to Titan Sports.
Oh. Well, yeah.
That was because that I had a lawyer to send them a cease and desist letter in 1988. So they changed the corporation's name. At that time, I thought that we was finished with that. And then we had the problem with them utilizing WWF Superstars of Wrestling. I didn't know until 2005 that what was going on with the WWF and the Superstars of Wrestling. During a trial in 1990, I met Linda McMahon, I think, several times.
You did?
Several times. One time at the corporate offices and twice in Milwaukee. A personal meeting and a trial, at the trial. And at that time, the World Wrestling information that Ms. McMahon gave to the federal courts at the time was that Superstars of Wrestling made in approximately $800,000.
Whoa.
In that period of time. And she didn't have any other records of that at that time. Matter of fact, we didn't have any income tax documents relating from 83, 84, 85 at the time. Now, I was blown away when I read the information and documentation that they gave to a judge in 2005.
Whoa. Hey, go ahead.
You know, it was really remarkable that at that time her memory was good when it came to the United States Patent and Trademark Office. And the physical year, I guess 1983 through to 1984, Championship Wrestling, All-Star Wrestling, and Superstars Wrestling Network did $10 million.
Oh, yeah.
At that particular time, I guess that you would have to assume that that was history, because I had never heard of a single television program, a television program reaching that type of dollar amount
At that time.
at that time, $10 million. So it was eye-catching.
Lot then.
It was eye-catching.
Mhm.
But again, by it being so eye-catching, I can't understand why that this information wasn't brought to the attention of the courts in the litigation in 1990.
Wow.
The truth. Why would you lie about something that simple? But I can understand one thing, $10 million is a whole lot of money.
At that time.
At that time.
Yeah.
We're talking about in 1983
What year?
and
Oh, yeah.
in the physical tax year of 84.
It probably was a lot then.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Patterson, what happened to the WWF Superstars of Wrestling?
What happened to the WWF Superstars of Wrestling? Can you refresh my memory?
Yeah.
Do that.
Well, it just says, that's my question I want to ask you. But what happened to them, the WWF Superstars of Wrestling?
Okay.
That's the question I had.
Oh, okay. What happened to the WWF Superstars of Wrestling? I guess my answer would be Linda and Vince McMahon.
Well, talk up to the...
Okay. I'm going to talk up. I guess my answer at this time about that would be Linda and Vince McMahon never owned the WWF Superstars of Wrestling.
Okay, I want to make sure they heard that.
Yes.
Okay. They never owned it, huh?
No, they
Who
never
owned
owned
it?
it. I did. I created
Wow.
Superstars of Wrestling.
And it was patented and everything.
Yes, it was.
Wow. Okay, what happened to the WWF Superstars?
Well, it was canceled also. WWF Superstars was canceled, along with 10 other WWF Superstars.
10?
Every mark
Ugh.
associated with WWF Superstars, WWF Wrestling Superstars, was canceled.
Wow. I see you have one, it was canceled, one was canceled, number 1735961, and it was canceled March 22nd of 1999.
That's as early as they would start canceling the WWF Superstars.
And then I guess they can, people can look at that and they'll see that it was canceled. You said 10 more times, so.
10 more times.
Wow.
Matter of fact, it's public history, public records. And these will be attached to our Superstars of Wrestling Live website
Oh.
for your convenience if you want to look it up. Because
Or if somebody else wants to look it up too.
yeah, to verify the facts of what we're saying here, it's all public information. It was on file with the United States Patent and Trademark Office, I guess so long ago, they might be going to took a lot of it off. But we do have the original copies that will be adjacent, and also they will be on our Superstars Wrestling Live website.
Okay. Mr. Patterson, how did you get to be the owner of these wrestling trademarks that you're talking about? All those trademarks.
I created.
I mentioned it at the beginning when we were talking.
Right. I created UWA Superstar Wrestling, which the company's name was United Wrestling Association.
Oh, that's what that stood for.
Yeah. UWA stood for United Wrestling Association.
Okay.
DBA, UWA Superstar Wrestling Television Series. That was
television.
the first.
Okay.
That was the first television program that I created, and we created that in the 70s.
Oh, way back then, huh?
Yes, Superstars of Wrestling has been registered with the state of Wisconsin ever since 1980.
Whoa, way back there.
Yes, at the time, the Secretary of the State at the time was the late Val Phillips.
Oh.
I'm here in Milwaukee, so a lot
She
of
was
people.
an attorney?
She was
Oh,
an
no.
attorney at law. Her husband was an attorney. They had a law firm here in the state of Wisconsin,
Right.
and they was great peoples.
And you said she was secretary of
She was the first lady secretary of the state of Wisconsin.
Okay.
Yes, and she was a good friend. I worked with her quite a bit at the state capitol.
And you purchased the names from where?
I purchased the names from the United States Bankruptcy Court.
Bankruptcy court?
Yes, in the state of Wisconsin. At that time, it was before the federal courts at the time. And I purchased all the names. I purchased the UWA Superstar Wrestling, WWA Superstars of Wrestling, WWA Superstars Pro Wrestling, WWA Superstars of Pro Wrestling, World Wrestling WWA. I developed all those marks.
All of those?
All those marks, yes,
Wow.
I did.
Anything else you want to tell us about that? What about, okay, you also, I think you said something about, you also became the registered owner or something?
Oh yes, I also purchased and I also became the registered trademark owner of WWA Superstars of Wrestling, which is Superstars of Wrestling trademark, yes.
Is that sort of like on your shirt? I'm trying to see your shirt.
Oh yes, this is,
Yeah,
matter of fact, this is the first.
Isn't that your trademark?
Yes it is.
WWA SW?
Well, SW stands for Superstar Wrestling.
Okay, you own that?
Yes.
I see. A lot of people
Superstar.
don't know that.
Well, it's it's so well publicized if you know what you're looking for. But the United States Patent and Trademark Office, before that, okay, back it up a little bit. Let me back this up.
Yeah.
Anytime before that you start utilizing the trademark, you should do a trademark search.
Mm-hmm.
Have an attorney to do a trademark search, because it's a special type search, and the type of lawyer that you need is a specialty lawyer, and so on and so on,
Yeah.
property lawyer. But I learned that the Titan Sports, DBA,
Titan, Titan Sports?
yes,
Okay.
DBA, WWE, did trademark searches.
They did?
Oh yes, they was fully aware of my ownership of Superstar Wrestling.
They know it?
Yes, they was fully aware of all of my registered marks in the state at the time. They was fully aware. You don't go and pick up a trademark unless this trademark is profitable. And it has to have a name and popularity. That's when you take a chance of infringing up on those trademark rights and claiming those rights.
Really?
Okay, and let me go just a little step further here, because it's kind of difficult a lot of times to explain this to people. But when someone go out and claim ownership of something, it's kind of difficult to get their name off of your trademark.
Oh.
And the effect that it takes it destroys you, really, because at this particular time when this took place, when Linda McMahon took the trademarks and claimed them in 1983 at the United States
Way back then she did that?
Yeah, at the United States Patent and Trademark Office. Those documents stayed on the files for years. You know, and I learned about them, like I said, 2005, how to start trying to get some of this stuff off, because I thought in the 90s that after we signed the permanent injunction.
Well, let me ask you a question. You just hit me. Do you think if she did know that that was your trademarks and all that stuff, and why couldn't she have worked with you if she wanted to still, you know, work with that trademark? Couldn't y'all have worked that together some kind of way so it wouldn't be, you know, taking it and just run off with it, or couldn't y'all have, you know, worked that out between?
Well, during the meeting,
if she know that it was yours.
During the meetings, we had, like I said, several meetings, and during the meetings, we talked about a lot of things. We talked about that she had tried prior to get a registration for WWF Superstars of Wrestling, and they couldn't get the trademark registration through the federal government trademark office. And I explained to her that, you know, my registration for the state had been registered ever since 1980. And first use is the law. If you first use a trademark and did all the proper maintenance to this trademark,
right,
that's your trademark. And so during this meeting, it was in 1992, during this meeting, we was talking about it, and we got to a point, because what I wanted for the mark at this particular time, I thought, and by my limited research at the time, that the mark had made millions and millions of dollars. So everyone thought I was crazy, and at the time, I think I told them I wanted $2 million for the mark at that time. We're talking about now 1988 and 89. You understand what I'm saying? They are saying, well, no, we're not making that much money. But at that particular time, the marks was worth over 500 million at that time.
Wow. And they didn't want you to have anything.
No, but I'm just saying though,
Much of nothing.
I can't understand why that it was so much of a problem. And then they said, well, we're going to stop using WWF Superstars of Wrestling.
So what happened?
Okay, here's what happened with that. I said, well, if you do, use WWF Superstars of Wrestling again, you got to pay me royalties on this mark.
And you had
And the lawyer said, well, they have no interest in using WWF Superstars of Wrestling again. And if we do, then we would, do the royalty or whatever.
and then you have a document that told that they were supposed to be paying you royalties. You have a document. Didn't you tell me you had a document?
Yeah, if they use the mark.
Yeah, you had a
I
document.
think I did have that.
Okay.
But I think that might be helpful.
Yeah. I don't. If you don't, we can.
It'll be adjacent to the file.
Okay.
On the website.
Yeah.
The website, you can review that file on the website.
But I thought you did say
I do
you
have.
actually have a document.
I do have a document
where they said you're supposed to pay you royalties.
Yeah.
For using your.
If they utilize the mark again.
Yeah.
And not only did they use the mark, they never stopped using the mark up
They
until
still
2003. They used it up until 2003. And documentation. My situation was that if that's all it is, why wasn't I contacted if they wanted to continue using this mark?
Now you wouldn't against them using it if they worked it out with you?
We had already, that was the settlement in this matter. That was the term. It was one question that came back after we did all of this meeting and talking, that if you, the statement I think it was, if you use WWF Superstars of Wrestling, I wanted royalties.
Well, that makes sense.
That was in the statement.
That's fair.
To our meeting. So when they kept utilizing the mark, I contacted them and been contacting them several times that the mark is being used on the internet, used in products, all around the place. And who are these people and who are giving them permission to do all of this? So a lot of times it traces back to the WWE, it traces back to other people. I remember this Type 2 company that makes the Superstars of Wrestling games and all of that. They had nerve enough to send me a letter that they had talked to the WWE and that they own Superstars of Wrestling.
What?
I thought it was remarkable.
They didn't know. They just didn't know.
And I have
people say a lot of stuff they just didn't had no clue.
I have a lot of people that
well, they just don't
tell me
that
they own my copyrights and my trademark rights, and I'm saying, well, you should check with the United States Patent and Trademark Company and see who owns Superstars of Wrestling.
Yeah. Well, they don't know.
But today, I simply would love to let everyone know that Vince and Linda McMahon, the owners of the World Wrestling Entertainment, does not own Superstars of Wrestling and never owned Superstars of Wrestling. They infringed stuff on Superstars of Wrestling, but they never owned it.
Oh, this is kind of sad. Well, and look like I'm just hoping that as we go forward,
And
that maybe if they can contact you and you guys, I wish you guys can work it out.
It's no. I don't think that's going to never happen.
You don't think?
But I'd like to clear up another little thing here. WWF Superstars Entertainment Services in the nature of television program and future wrestling program was canceled.
Oh.
Now that was canceled more than 10 or 12 times.
Oh yeah, I think we talked about that earlier.
Yeah. It was canceled more than 12 times. If you own something, and you had a federal registration and been using it for years, and you do the maintenance on the mark, unless you're going to do something illegal, it's not going to get canceled. But I can see where that all of these marks was canceled because it was so much false information involved with it. WWF Superstars was used in conjunction with the WWF Superstars of Wrestling and bound it all together.
Oh.
And in 1983, I don't know if the public know, it's been so many years ago, but uh, the WWF and Vince McMahon and Linda McMahon at that particular time, they bought some companies.
Oh.
And as we was on the first page here, let me introduce you to what their organization was at the time.
What?
The organization that at the time was infringing up on the trademark, at the time, the companies was Championship Wrestling, All-Star Wrestling, and Superstars of Wrestling. In which were that in 1983, they had no other names, and they had to have a Superstars of Wrestling network.
Oh.
And that was the consumption of jumping and taking Superstars of Wrestling, because they took Superstars of Wrestling and promoted the World Wrestling Entertainment, Championship Wrestling, All-Star Wrestling, and Superstars of Wrestling throughout the United States and networks and cities. So a lot of people might not even understand what was all involved.
Sure, no, they don't know.
But if someone take your name and promote stuff that they already got from people, like Championship Wrestling, Georgia Wrestling, and all of these companies, they're not familiar that this guy was promoting these companies for other promoters.
Oh. Mm.
So they needed Superstars of Wrestling at the time to license Madison Square Garden,
Oh, wow.
Chicago, and all of these other network TV programs and networks that they was dealing with at the time to put this program on. And this is what they're doing. They monopolized the Superstars of Wrestling because it was a name that everybody was identified to. Actors, like Hulk Hogan and all these guys, it built him. Because he became then the Superstars of Wrestling, WWF Superstars of Wrestling champion.
Wow.
Then they did WWF Superstars of Wrestling books, magazine.
Oh, yeah. Can I ask you a question? Mr. Patterson, can you give me the status, you know, you have these trademarks. Can you give me the status of your incontestable trademarks and entertainment services?
Okay.
Can you know, just give me just a little bit on that.
Well, the registration was renewed, has been renewed. Status date, August 18, 2014.
Uh-huh.
And you know that...
Did you have a registration number?
Registration number, serial number is 74429666. The United States registered number is 1857015.
The reason why I asked you that is I want to make sure that people that may see this, let them know that you're not just talking off the top of your head. All these things are in, can be pulled up. I mean, they're all legal documents.
They can go to, they'll be able.
So it's not anything that, you're not just talking, you have legal documents to prove about your, that you're the owner of those trademarks.
Oh yes, we are creating these documents now. We're going to have all these documents on the Superstars of Wrestling Live.
Oh yeah?
Yes, they will be on our website. Why people can go now and look up the information. Because I don't know what happened to the information at the patent office, but why they can look up the information. We do have the certified information that will be on. But anyone could look up a trademark. You can look up the serial number 1857015.
Now, I don't have any more questions to ask you. Is there anything you want to add to what we just talked about that get some good understanding for people that, you know, they may not know? That, you know, I don't think they mean any harm or anything. They just don't know. You know, they hear about you and people just don't know that you are okay person. You just want to let them know that, you know what, that you were the owner. You know?
Well, I think it's time for people to understand is that it is so much misleading information on Facebook, YouTube, Yahoo, that this information must cease and desist and come off. And I know it might be difficult for, I guess, HBO and all these people and these people that run all this information, but every time that someone put a Superstars of Wrestling toy out there, and it has Superstars of Wrestling, it has the copyright, WWF Superstars on it, has the copyright giving someone like Titan Sports the copyright ownership. It is misleading because wrestling fans don't understand that. They think that this company owned this mark, or I took the mark from them or whatever, but that's not it. They do not own the mark. This information and this stuff has been out here ever since like 1990. So I can understand these toy people. I don't want you to file bankruptcy or whatever, because now I'm on the scene and you know that these people didn't own these registrations or how this stuff took place. But I'm saying if it was 2003 and all of these registrations has been canceled by the United States Patent and Trademark Office, then I can't understand why that all of this stuff is on TV or on the internet.
Can I ask you a question? If a person does have, is utilizing some of your trademark things, did you mention games and toys and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Can they, well, you're not trying to take nobody out of business or anything.
I'm not
But what
trying
I do
to.
is,
Okay.
Can they contact you and can you work with them to let them, they can still maybe use it? And some kind of, I don't know.
We have
How that work? How can you?
we're setting up a license department.
Okay.
While we give, we have a license where you can get licensed to use.
But they'd have to get your okay with it.
They would have to get a license agreement from Superstars of Wrestling.
From
Patterson, yeah.
From you.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they would have to get a license agreement.
But you could work with them.
We are willing to work with anyone. Another thing, see, I can't understand why the thinking of the WWE letting them advance at this point in time, because it is so much money in the WWF Superstars of Wrestling and WWF Superstars of Wrestling shows. Just go back and think about from 1983 television shows going all the way up to 2003 shows. Do you know how many episodes that is?
I have no clue. That's a lie.
Those shows can be showed in their entirety with a license agreement. These shows don't have to be cut up, chopped up. These shows can be showed in their entirety, and it's
what would they need to do? Contact you?
A license agreement.
Okay.
Purchase the marks.
From you?
Yes. Now, the whole backup here, and a lot of the fans and everything, like, I'm going to mention this too here, and then I'm going to sum this up. But it's just like the wrestling fans. You are getting mad with me because these shows are not on WWE Network. It's not my fault because these shows are not on their network. Okay? And I would like you to understand, when you send me threats and stuff like that, talking about you're going to put bags over my head, that you're going to put bags over my head and stuff, you have to be very careful. It could be a prank or something that you're playing with, but you do not threaten people in writing on the internet. You do not do that.
Because it can go.
It can go where the FBI will be knocking at your door.
Oh, well.
Then you can get charged.
Well, I'm hoping people won't continue
So,
stuff like that.
I just want to tell you right now that you shouldn't do that.
And you're not trying to.
I'm not
trying
to do anything, but I'm just telling you because if I call the FBI or whatever, they're gonna check it out. And they have to check out all threats if you think they are really serious. So, again, I didn't take it very seriously at the time, but I was informed later to just make sure that you tell the people. So, again, we're not trying to put anyone out of business. We want to work with every company. But again, let me get back to the point. These trademarks, service mark, television shows, and products are worth so many millions. At this time, again, I'll just tell you again, from 1983 television shows to 2003 shows can be showed in the entirety because the World Wide Federation, which is the World Wildlife Fund, does not own WWF Superstars or WWF Superstars of Wrestling. They have no hope on that. Those are totally different marks. They have a hold on WWF, but they don't have a hold on that. So it's up to those parties to do whatever they would like to do. But in the meantime, we cannot let companies utilize our trademarks and we don't protect them at this point in time. Another thing, we do have to get legal people and lawyers to work on our behalf to make sure that WWF Superstars of Wrestling shouldn't be on the internet. It shouldn't be in any publications, past or present. Again, past and present, without written consent of Albert Patterson. Okay, so you don't have to get confused with none of this. You can contact myself. You can go on our website, look it up. Within 5 working days, it's going to all be up. And you can look at the information or whatever. But again, before that you utilize someone's trademark or claim a trademark, please do a trademark search. Because this litigation can be very, very expensive. Especially when you got to have multi-plans and decide how to deal with that. But again, I know it's going to cost a lot, but we have to have the WWF Superstars of Wrestling, whatever, Superstars in conjunction with this stuff, took off the internet. In whatever media that it is. Because we have talked and we have sent letters to everyone, tried to negotiate the way that it should be going. It should have been a simple contact Linda McMahon and Vince McMahon. I guess any other normal business person, they would have did this, is sit down and negotiate something with the royalties if they didn't want to purchase it, whatever, and run this stuff on the network, so however that you wanted to do it. I look at like the ice cream companies and all of this stuff that want the Superstars of Wrestling ice cream bar. Okay, what is it going to hurt your company to put this WWF Superstars of Wrestling, or Superstars of Wrestling ice cream bar back on the market? What is it going to hurt? It's only going to make profit. Guaranteed to make profit. Has made profit. If, as Linda said, in 1 year, if the program uplifted the financial situation of 10 million, what will it do today? What would Superstars of Wrestling ice cream do today on the marketplace? My understanding is like Gold Bond still have all the provisions to make the ice cream and the shells and all of that. So I just can't understand what's wrong with these people that they don't want to deal with me. I understand.
I don't find you to be what they said or what, you don't seem to be hard to, to talk to at all. So, but I sure appreciate you, I do appreciate you, talking to us today, just to maybe make some, I hope some of this, make some good clarification to those that view this. And, anything else that you?
Well,
And we're gonna close out.
right now is the reason that this was just little tidbits of what's happening. We're doing a whole book of the Superstars of Pro Wrestling
Oh, story?
story.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna do a whole book on it, going back till 1974 to the present day.
Oh, that might be something
Of
to
what
read.
happened, and all of that information will be in there. How that I developed Superstars of Wrestling, how I got in the wrestling business as early as 1969.
Wow.
I work with peoples in the business, and also highlighting our television Superstars of Wrestling Live network cable program. We go back and show programs and shows like from 1978. You might see guys like Sailor Thomas,
Oh, they would love to see that.
Mighty Igor,
Oh, wow.
Dominic DeNucci,
Wow.
Jeff Mays,
Oh, they'll like that.
Bob Horton Jr.,
Mhm.
Nails, the late Hercules, Jim Brunzell, the Killer Bees. Like all of these type of people has worked with the Superstars of Wrestling. Randy Savage started working with the Superstars of Wrestling in 1980. As early as 1980, he worked with our company for 2 years, 1980 through 1982, when we concluded it with a pay-per-view, which that's going to be shown also. We have so much history with this program. Also, information will be about the lawsuit. We did have a lawsuit with Titan Sports in 1990. The results was, and I think they have it on their website. Honey, what was the results to that? I think they kind of highlighted like this here with about the Superstars of Wrestling. Yeah.
You want me to read that?
Yes, read that to them. So.
About the trademark?
Yeah.
infringement?
Okay.
Oh, okay, then we're gonna finish.
Yeah, we're gonna finish
with
up.
this. Okay, this says trademark infringement. The WWE abandoned the Superstars of Wrestling trademark when they changed the show's name to WWF Superstars in the early 1990s. Albert Patterson, a Wisconsin independent wrestling promoter, successfully trademarked the phrase in 1993. Although there has been litigation between WWE and Patterson, WWE has not been able to settle with Patterson for the usage of Superstars of Wrestling. Due to this issue, WWE blurs the Superstars of Wrestling banners when archival content is shown on the WWE network.
Okay, now we kind of concluding it here, but is it clear?
I'm sorry, that was from Wikipedia.
Well,
Whatever that is.
okay, it's in the Wikipedia, so it's where you can check it, right?
Mhm, .org.
Yeah, .org. Now, I don't see myself as being a difficult person to do business with. You did business with me when you first wanted to get out of this and keep on operating. Wasn't a problem. Linda McMahon didn't have a problem sitting down, meeting with me.
Yeah, because you've met before.
We met several times. I'm just saying, we didn't have a problem then. But we have a problem now, I'm imagining, and years over. Every responsibility I ever had to the WWE was paid. Whatever agreement that I ever made with them, I kept that agreement. Files to go back and tell you in history that every agreement that I made with the WWE, I kept. Now, doing what they instructed me to do, as contact them if they was using Superstars of Wrestling and all of this, all of that stuff took place, but it has been met with so much controversy.
Yeah.
I forgot this or I forgot that, but again, those shows don't have to be blurred. They go on the network. Okay,
But they need to contact you so it don't have to be blurred?
you are a multi-billion-dollar company. Even if you showed all of this stuff and I got one penny out of a multi-million-dollar company, what is that gonna hurt you? We only talking about pennies. When it comes to you, it's pennies. And what is it gonna do to you to pay me pennies and make all of your fans very happy on your network?
That'd be good.
Now what sense does it make? What sense does it make that these toys or whatever products or things can't be sold out open in the marketplace? You could, you're a royalty collecting company. To me, is sending me a memo letting me know what's going on. I've been in so many royalty contracts, so I know how they go. Saying that, well, we're going to pay you this quarterly royalty report, you'll get this, boom, 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 boom. What is that? The only difference that it seems like it makes to me at this point is that you are giving a black person royalties. That's the only thing I can see that's a problem. It's not business, because you're not doing good business. Good business is resolving stuff and making it run and float. And making it what it should be. My job should be simply trying to put Superstars of Wrestling on the map here in Wisconsin, some type of museum or something where you can install all of this industry material, while people can come back today, like now it's 25 years in history, but I'm just saying why they can come and say, well, you know, it was World Wrestling Association or World Wrestling Federation that broke history, made history in 1983.
In Wisconsin?
No,
just
made history in 1983 by the television show doing $10 million in 1 year.
So that would look good for everybody, wouldn't it?
Well, it makes put Miss McMahon in the Hall of Fame.
Sure.
Shouldn't I be in the Hall of Fame? I think both of us be there.
Sure.
The name that she used to make the $10 million was whose name?
Well,
I'm just saying, whose name that you used that made that money? $10 million. Your company had $10 million to work with in 1984. Now, that was before you even bought, either your father-in-law passed away.
mm-hmm. Tell them who you're talking about, though.
I'm talking about Vincent Linda McMahon. Linda McMahon, the one
I
made the
want to
10
make sure
million.
they know who you're talking about.
So what I'm saying is here, now, and then I look at some of the stuff when I look at the history of Mr. McMahon when he goes on television or whatever in these media blitz. Mr. McMahon sitting right there. And he said, well, I had to borrow money from each and everybody and pawn the kitchen sink to do the first WrestleMania. I looked and I said, what? If your wife's sitting on $10 million, why did you have to borrow anything? You're going to make $10 million physical year, 1984. So you going into 85, you $10 million strong. That's something to think about, ain't it? All off of Superstars of Wrestling. That's something to think about. But now this person is crazy.
I'm not.
Nut.
Don't gonna say that. Because you're not.
I'm not. But Miss McMahon, that's on record. She did call me a nut.
I hope not.
She did.
Okay.
She called me a certified nut.
Well,
because of what we're talking about today.
We know you're not, so let's just, are we about to finish?
Well, we're going to finish up today because Again, we are promoting the Superstars of Wrestling Live Network coming to the internet. And I hope everybody pay attention and look at the history and know. But again, I never infringed up on anyone's trademark but my own. I created my trademarks. I didn't infringe up on anyone's trademark at all. And I'm not a bad person to do business with. The only thing I deal with and I expect, if you make a deal and you make a concessions, that's what you deal with. Okay?
Well, thank you for talking with us today.
It was wonderful, and we'll be back again. But as it is today, goodbye, and I'll see you next time on WWA Superstars of Wrestling Live. Coming soon.